Welcome to Dark Side News, Moon Township's #1 spot for pop culture. I'm Nathan Kingston.
And I'm Aaron Fryer. Here's what's happening on the dark side.
Now, to break down our costumes, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm Bob Ross, minus the paintbrush. Aaron over here, his costume's a happy little accident, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? It just ended up getting too busy with midterms and everything, and so I didn't have the chance to go and get a costume. So this is the result of a 10:30 Walmart run. We're going to say that I'm Zorro, so we're going to go with that. Yeah, that's this is technically our Halloween special, as it's coming up right before Halloween, so naturally we're going to be focusing more on the Halloween aspect of pop culture.
Exactly.
So we have an interesting first banter with us in that we're talking about the horror genre in its recent years. So, Nate, would you like to kick us off on that?
Well, horror movies over the past couple years have gone in a much different direction, particularly away from the slashers of yesteryear into an era of psychological horror, with hints like Get Out, Us, and Midsummer. Me and Aaron, we're going to break down our thoughts on all these.
Okay.
So, to start, Aaron, what do you think about the modern horror genre today?
So I think the modern horror genre is like a kind of it's a specific niche in that more moviegoers are recognize it. For instance, like a few years ago, Get Out, Hereditary, they're being more acknowledged at the big awards ceremonies. Midsummer too, at the Oscars than they used to. Like you would never see something along the lines of Child's Play at an Oscar.
Exactly.
Nominee. But in recent years, I mean, it's become possible because there's not really. It's become more of an art form and to create these mind-bending thoughts.
Exactly. I know there's so obviously you got your slashers, you got Halloween, Friday the 13th, Child's Play, Nightmare on Elm Street. Now today we're really straying away from those. I mean, like I said, you got the psychological thrillers that Jordan Peele made, which is crazy because he's a comedic guy. He made the Key and Peele show. There we go. Key and Peele show. So I mean, it's really crazy how guys from comedy can make such dramatic psychological thrillers.
Yeah, and even if you're something at something like The Quiet Place, who John Krasinski will always be Jim. That's just
always Jim from The Office.
That's just a fact. But he will always be Jim, but he's putting out these movies that are having a big influence on society and how people are anticipated for these. They bring a very interesting perspective to the horror genre as a whole, and they don't have and they just kind of build up tension more than they worry about stuff along the other lines.
Exactly. I know for Jordan Peele's sake, I know that he is trying to, every movie he makes, he's trying to get on a social issue. So, I mean, Get Out, Us, I mean, he's trying to get all those social issues and has some weird psychological or sci-fi type, which I think I enjoy some of those horror movies over the basic slashers all the time.
Yeah.
What do you take on that? Would you rather watch a slasher or one of these psychological thrillers?
Personally, as a movie guy in general, I want to see good cinematography, and I feel with a slasher, you kind of sacrifice some of that. In just that you're more focused on the actual scary jump scare part of it, and you don't take in the aspect of how, for instance, Midsummer, filmed in in a foreign country, but it's beautiful to look at, but down beneath, past that, there's more of a darkness to it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there is such a darkness, especially if you want to go into that movie a little bit more. Just the society that's there and all these weird traditions they're doing, and then there's obviously great portrayals by all these actors and actresses in these. Yeah, I just can't even think about some of that stuff of how these movies are. We're going into a different wave of horror. We're going to a different stage. I mean, obviously we still have some of those slashers today. The new Halloween just came out, and there's the 2018 Halloween, but I do enjoy these. I know that there's another director, James Wan. He's made plenty of horror movies before, and then he moved on to do superhero movies like Aquaman. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's crazy in itself.
Yeah, not anything, but in the past few years, I watched the last It recently, the first reboot of it, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't scared by it at all. It's kind of a very the way that they approach these like characters in the horror sense comes across as kind of cheesy to me, and it's predictable because you have to follow the basic tropes. Oh, couple goes off, couple gets killed early, stuff along those lines. So I like the fact that they're straying farther away from these tropes. It just comes to like, will these stuff end up becoming tropes themselves?
Okay, I understand that. I understand. I mean, there's always horror games as well that go into this because I mean, you have Dead by Daylight, which is a great game of just like slashing. But do you think they should make a game like that that's psychological?
I think that there have been like attempts to, such as I believe there's some games that are just completely on the side of where they don't have much gameplay. Like for instance, Doom, honestly, is like with the creature designs and stuff like that. It could be considered horror, but like that's fast-filled fun stuff along those lines. But they don't have that in like something where it's creepy and you're like sneaking around somewhere else, and it kind of builds to more like cult following stuff along those lines.
Oh my gosh, yeah, all the cult followings for all these classic horror movies, like all the Friday movies, there's got to be like 20 or gazillion of those.
Yeah.
But I like we're going off into the more cinematic side and psychological side instead of all of these like, oh, I just want to see the coolest kill, I just want to see how this guy is going to get killed, or how's this, but basically trying to get a good story arc.
Yeah, not for anything, but I did see recently, I saw this, I didn't watch the movie, but I've heard many good things about it. I think it's called The Wolf's House, and it's like a horror movie based in one house. It's all hand-drawn animation, and it just like kind of goes through this person's psyche and like down that hole. So like if we like look at stuff like this, you can see that the industry's changing probably for the better.
Oh, I mean, definitely for the better. I mean, every once in a while it's good to see those slasher movies or some of those crazy movies. But yeah, like you said, it's good to see that we're going in this direction of how we're getting away from that.
A lot of these can be considered fun movies. I don't know if I consider them good movies. Like, as I said, they haven't been acknowledged by academies, stuff along those lines. But that being said, they are like cult classics, and the thing is, you can't walk into like a Hot Topic or something along those lines without seeing something like Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers. These are all icons in the modern day. And you honestly can't get rid of that. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be people that are huge fans of all those genres. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah. I mean, you can either, well, of course, they keep rebooting. Like, obviously, got the new Halloween reboot. They got, rebooted Hereditary, which
really?
that was a great movie.
I did not
the new Hereditary.
I did not hear about that. Okay. Huh. I wasn't sure if that was actually a reboot. But, yeah, that's kind of, hopefully it can go that way. And they may not become as pop culture icons, but, like, they'll still stand the test of time. Okay, while these movies didn't quite make the cut, here's some that were done from RMU's own Ray Zapparoni.
Hi, I'm Ray Zapparoni, and I work at the AMC, and I was asked from Dark Side News to name my 5 go-to Halloween movies. First off, I've devoted pretty much my life and money and time to Halloween and spooky stuff, so I feel like I have a pretty good list today. So. My top 5 movies go from 5 to 1, and my first one is the 1984 original version of Nightmare on Elm Street. Robert Englund, Wes Craven directs, Heather Langenkamp, young Johnny Depp, shows that nightmares do come true. Beautiful movie. My next movie is a family favorite one, so if you have young brothers and sisters or nieces or grandmothers, this is a story of a loving family, and it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It shows that a family that slays together stays together. Cannibalism, lots of screaming. 1974, Tobe Hooper. The third movie on my list is the classic from John Carpenter. It's the original Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance. It started the slasher movie, though some will say the 1975 movie Black Christmas was the original slasher movie, but Halloween came out in '78, and that is known as really the first slasher movie. The number 2 movie on my list, and which is since this is a Halloween movie favorite, this is my #1 movie of all time, if that makes sense. It's The Exorcist, 1973, book by William Peter Blatty, directed by Billy Friedkin, Linda Blair, possession, craziness. It's long and drawn out, but it's a masterpiece. It won an Oscar award for sound design, so it's a beautifully sounding movie. And my #1 Halloween movie is, being from Western Pennsylvania, I have to go with the original 1968 Night of the Living Dead. George Romero, John Russo, made in Evans City, local talent. The cool thing about this is at one point in my career here, working at WRS Motion Picture, I got a chance to work with the guys from Night of the Living Dead, so there's a little bit in my heart. So there's tons of movies out there, other movies that honorable mention that spook me out during Halloween. I love the Paranormal Activities. I love the screams, the early screams. I love getting into the Italian horror, Bava, Fulci, Dario Argento. Halloween's loaded with good movies, and yeah, these 5 movies are my go-to ones for Halloween, and happy Halloween.
Thanks for your thoughts, Ray. Those are some great choices. Later on in the show, all kinds of DC news and the hairiest matchup of all eternity. See you after the break.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Yeah! Sam, Elmo!
Oh, hey, Julia. You ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure.
$1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
Hello, and welcome back from the break. We're going to get right into the highlights in pop culture for this past week. Sweeping the nation, tragedy struck on the set of Rust Thursday afternoon. Actor Alec Baldwin fired a prop gun that was believed to be empty, but instead contained live rounds inside. The shot hit the film's director of photography, Helena Haynes, in the chest, killing her. Another shot was fired in succession, injuring the director, Joel Souza. The incident now raises several questions regarding arms safety on movie sets. Alec Baldwin released a statement on Twitter offering his condolences and specifically saying, "I'm fully cooperating with the police investigation to address how this tragedy occurred," end quote.
Now, under Critical Role fans, the time has finally arrived. Just 4 months after the previous campaign of Critical Role wrapped up, Dungeon Master Matthew Mercer began a brand new campaign on Thursday, October 21st. The third campaign takes place in the vast desert region of Marquette in Mercer's homebrew world of Exandria, as well as debuting on a brand new set. Fans should expect the players to be many returning faces, such as Sam Riegel, Taliesin Jaffrey, Marcia Ray, Travis William, Ashley Johnson, Liam O'Brien, Laura Bailey, and Robbie Damon. Critical Role airs on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time and becomes available for all to watch on Monday at noon Eastern Time.
Most Overwatch patch notes lead to changes to the hero's gameplay, but a patch note released October 26 will change a character's name completely. On their social media pages, the Overwatch dev team announced that the hero formerly known as Jesse McCree will now be known as Cole Cassidy. This comes after the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing sued Overwatch developer Activision Blizzard due to sexual harassment and discrimination in the workplace. It is because of this that Blizzard has adopted a policy against references to real-life developers in their game. A storyline with the character Jesse McCree, now Cole Cassidy, is being delayed due to these changes.
Moving on to the world of DC, the Dark Knight finds himself once again facing off against the inhabitants of the Fortnite Island in Batman Fortnite Foundation. The one-shot comic follows the story of the Foundation, the leader of the 7 last seen being ejected out of the Spire in Fortnite Chapter 2, Season 7, Invasion. The Foundation finds himself washed up ashore in the Gotham City, where he faces off against the Caped Crusader. Readers will also be able to redeem an included code that unlocks the Batman Who Laughs outfit, the Robin's Perch backbling, and the exclusive Dark Days loading screen. The set will also be available in the item shop tonight at 8 p.m. Otherwise, fans should go to their local comic store to read the next chapter of the Batman Fortnite saga. Although that's not all the news on Batman, the first official trailer for the Batman movie was released by Warner Brothers on October 16th, going beyond the teaser trailer that shocked DC fans earlier. The first full trailer became #1 on trending on YouTube for over 3 days. The internet and the world blew up this trailer with over 31 million views and almost 1 million likes. The Batman movie comes out March 4th, 2022, and it will only be in theaters. This movie also has a great cast, starring Robert Pattinson as Batman, Colin Farrell as Penguin, Jeffrey Wright as Detective Gordon, and Andy Serkis as Batman's butler, Alfred. Personally, I enjoyed both trailers, even though I'm a big Marvel fan. But I can't wait for this movie to come out due to the fact that it is so exciting and it looks so cinematic.
Batman wasn't the only news for DC News over the weekend. DC held their DC Fandom on October 16th, where many projects were unveiled. In the world of video games, the Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League received new trailers. As for TV shows, Batwoman Season 3, Harley Quinn Season 3, Young Justice Phantoms, and the Peacemaker solo series all got features. Finally, of course, we have to talk about the DC Cinematic Universe, with reveals and teasers for Black Adam with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom, The Flash, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
In other Halloween news, the movie Halloween Kills came out this month on October 15th. It came out in theaters and on NBC's streaming service, Peacock. On opening weekend, it grossed a total of $50 million, while grossing $159 million nationwide and over $256 million worldwide. With people starting to go back to theaters and the help of Peacock, it helped still in this COVID world. For reviews on this sequel, it had raised less than the first Halloween of 2018, which is of the new Halloween trilogy. This is tradition for most big franchises today, such as the second It movie, which also grossed lower than the first. For professional reviews, the critics rated this movie in the low 40%, especially on like Rotten Tomatoes, although audiences rated this in the top 70s.
Up next, you won't want to miss the ultimate Halloween fight curated by myself and Nate. You don't want to miss this. We'll see you when we get back from the break.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
I can't wait to get back to field trips with my school.
Not having to think about putting on a mask.
I really can't wait to get back to life, really.
I miss all my friends. I miss taking pictures in school.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
COVID-19 vaccines are available, and they're the first step to safely getting back to things we miss most. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccines.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 30 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people.
It's time to make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccines. The dangerous new Delta variant is more than twice as contagious as the original virus and can affect anyone. Right now, 9 out of 10 hospitalizations and deaths from COVID are among unvaccinated people. Getting vaccinated might save your life, and there's now an option that's fully approved by the FDA. Learn more at getvaccineanswers.org.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to Dark Side News. So we have a very special segment as part of our Halloween segment, and we're calling it The Fight by Twilight.
Now, this is called The Fight by Twilight because we're going to be ranking and having a bracket against our werewolves and vampires of pop culture today and of the past.
Of course. And of course, we call it Twilight in reference to that.
To the movies Twilight.
Yes, of course. The romance movies. So we're going to first start by introducing our vampires. We have Count Chocula.
Legendary Dracula.
Mm-hmm. And do we just place these on the board, or we'll just keep them?
Yeah, we'll just keep them there. That should be fine.
Okay.
Next we have Blade from some of the Marvel Universe. He's a vampire hunter and a half vampire.
And then
going on to other vampires, we have Count from Sesame Street. Yes, from Sesame Street. I said Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be placing him in the battle to the death.
Yes. We have Alucard, which is from Castlevania. We have Marcelina from Adventure Time.
Marceline.
The
vampire queen.
Yeah, Marceline.
That's how you remember that name. That's
my bad.
Yep. And then, of course, we have Dracula himself, but specifically Dracula from Hotel Transylvania. Now, as for our werewolves, we're going to start off with Sonic the Werehog. Yeah.
Sonic the Werehog. Who knows why he got on this list?
Yep. And then we also have Professor Lupin of Harry Potter. We're kind of pushing the rules with this one a bit, but we got the Weasel. You may know him from the first 5 minutes of the Suicide Squad.
Yes, the Suicide Squad.
Yes. Of course, we have Jacob from Twilight. You will notice Edward is not here for obvious reasons. He's too busy playing Batman right now.
Exactly, he's too busy playing Batman.
Of course, we have to have a 2-rep from series, so we have
Wayne
from Hotel Transylvania. And then we have Wolf W. Wolf. And so we're going to start off that bracket, aren't we?
Oh yeah, we're starting off that bracket. First up on the count, we have we have Count Chocula versus the hoodwinked wolf, Wolf W. Wolf.
Okay. So we're going to put that right there.
We're going to write the names down because these is going to...
Yeah.
We got Count Choco versus...
Okay. Versus... Who is Count Chocula versus?
Oh, hoodwinked wolf.
Hoodwinked
Wolf W. Wolf.
Okay. And do we want to get right into the bait for these two right here?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Wolf W. Wolf, Hoodwink was a great movie, classic movie. Count Chocula, though. He's an iconic. He's on a cereal box.
That's hard to beat. Like,
it's the hoodwinked wolf on a cereal box.
No, he is not. And the hoodwinked wolf got hoodwinked at the end of his movie. So
Okay.
like,
I
feel like we gotta up Count Choco. Now for our next match, who do we have?
We have Blade versus Wayne.
Okay. So do you have any personal thoughts on these ones?
Well, here's Blade, and here's Wayne. Now the question is, who do you think?
Does that look like a killer to you? Does Wayne look like a killer to you? I feel like he's not a killer. But the thing is, you have seen him like eat 400 sheep in 5 seconds. Calculating that, that's about 80 sheep per second, which is an impressive number. But compared to the superhuman ability of Blade, I feel like that kind of falls short.
All right, yeah, I'd say Blade definitely moves on over Wayne, sadly. Next, we have Count from Sesame Street. I believe he is on your side.
Yes.
Versus Jacob from Twilight.
Of course. Now, I will say something. The Count has a severe advantage in that he's immortal.
Exactly.
Jacob is not. And also, as we know, I'm a personally Team Edwards, so like,
you gotta go there.
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go with that. No one remembers Jacob. Sorry, Taylor Lautner. You're better remembered for Shark Boy.
Exactly, Shark Boy all the way.
So we'll go with the Count.
Yes, the Count.
The Count. 1, 2. Okay. Now for our next matchup, if I'm not mistaken, we have
Alucard versus Weasel.
Alucard of Castlevania. Now, Alucard's an interesting one because I do think that he's a very good contender, at least in this bracket. Just my personal thoughts, though, because, I mean, he's Dracula's son. He's got the immortality. He's got everything regarding that, and he's got a bunch of cool weapons and stuff like that.
Although, Weasel, if you remember from The Suicide Squad, if you remember watching it, Weasel was not dead after the first 5 minutes. He lived and it ran off into the jungle.
Oh wow, okay, big spoilers. But yeah, I mean, you're right. But like, he never got into actual combat, so we do not, based on the Suicide Squad, we do not know how he would fare. In the actual comics, he may fare better. But the thing is, Alucard just is too strong.
Yeah.
As we can see, the vampires are low-key dominating the bracket right now.
So we got Alucard moving on.
That immortality, man.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't spelled right, but we'll move on.
Dracula backwards.
Yes.
So, next up.
Now we have Marceline, the Vampire Queen, versus Lupin.
Professor Lupin. Now, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, first off, she is very powerful. I mean, look at that guitar axe he's holding.
Literally an axe.
Literally an axe. And what is this guy? He's a professor?
He's a professor, but he turns into a werewolf. But the thing in his werewolf state, he has no control. He can't control what he's doing.
Well, I'm going to say Marceline the Vampire Queen takes this.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. As much as I love Lupin as a character, it's just that Marceline has literally fought the embodiment of chaos themselves, so we can't really put her under the guy.
Exactly. So I'm going to say Marceline takes it.
Okay. Here's the werewolf's last stand, but we'll continue the bracket nonetheless, no matter what happens.
So I personally think that Drac takes this over the Weasel.
Sonic the Werehog?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I do believe that it is commonly accepted knowledge that Adam Sandler can pull from any of his personas. So he could theoretically summon the remote from Click and just bleep Sonic the Werehog out of existence.
Hey, that's not how that works.
I mean,
that's not how that works.
It's not how that works, but like, I don't know. Drax still got some skills. He's got some dance moves.
So who do you think's the overall winner then?
I'm inclined to go with Sonic the Werehog. I'm gonna be real with you.
Sonic the Werehog. I'm gonna go with Count Chocula for the win.
You're gonna go overall?
Overall, yes. Overall.
Overall, okay. I mean, that's fair enough, but sure. I feel like we have a few good contenders, but I do think Count Chocula. When you think Halloween, you think, ooh, Count Chocula.
Count Chocula.
Exactly. And in a battle to the death, a cereal box would eventually kill all the other people.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, but. So wait, can we officially deem Count Chocula the winner of this?
Oh yes, deem him the number one of the fight by Twilight.
So with that, we're going to replace Edward from Twilight with Count Chocula, and then the movies will be 100% time.
Exactly. Now, I hope our bracket was good enough for you guys. But I will say one thing. It has been a great Halloween episode with all of you. And, as always, we'll see you in 2 weeks.